Okay, so in part two, really looking at about like how we as women can use our feminine energy, can use our softness, can just really bring alive to who we are. And the easiest, fastest way to do this, and I promise we'll get to these points. You're probably like, oh my gosh, you're taking so long. Is I was having a conversation with someone recently, and they were sharing, we were just kind of talking about men and women, and I was like, a lot of women have had to masculinize themselves in order to survive. And I think that there's a different way to survive. I think that there's a different way to kind of have power. And I've learned that the hard way. Because maybe our strength as women isn't by being like, oh yeah, I can pick up this sword and I can wield this sword as good as you can do that, right? Like maybe there's a different set of arts and skills that we as women can use. I've always been drawn to the arts of the geisha, and so especially as shared in the last video, that I work as a webcam model, and that has taught me so many soft feminine energy skills for how to navigate things, how to set boundaries, but in a way that's feminine, authentic, um, and I stand up for myself. And I was gonna say not abrasive, but also I don't feel like shrinking down while I'm setting them. And it teaches you a ton of life skills, believe it or not. And I think as women, it would really be helpful to kind of share these life skills instead of like demonizing each other for like knowing it and for having it. So I'm sure Daphne Joy has no idea that she even naturally practices a lot of these. But I saw it, and then I was also really inspired because she is so soft, feminine, and sensual. And in that video before, I mentioned, connecting with our perfume with our body, connecting with our essence within our body. And, women who have a lot of fragrance to their bodies, I would say before you connect with your body, connect with your fragrance, right? And if within the center of your body is your perfume point, whether your perfume point is bombshell, whether your perfume point is heavenly, whether your perfume point is love spell, amber romance, like what is the perfume that your essence comes from your body, right? Like get to know it, get to know how to talk to it, get to know how to wear it. But the closer the woman's perfume is to Victoria's Secret Bombshell, the higher her percentage of feminine energy. And so there's a very rare tribe of women whose bodies are entirely made of perfume, whose bodies are entirely made of feminine energy. And I know that it said that we don't exist. We have been an erased species that's now awakening, so I'll say it as that. And so for some of us, our existence in the world, it may not be to masculinize ourselves because our nervous systems aren't going to feel comfortable in that setting. So yeah, so these are just a few different tips that I just noticed. And if you have any tips or anything that works for you, let me know and I'll just kind of go over them. So, and they're not going to be shocking or anything, but I think there's just quiet feminine reflections like, hey, is this something I'm practicing? So number one is the beauty and the softness of a female voice. Now, when I say this, I have a background from years and years ago, like my degree is in exercise science, personal trainer for many, many years. And so I've, do individual group sessions, traveling people's houses, large boot camps, so I'd be screaming and yelling at people, and I go from this sweet, demure, kind girl to like the personal trainer to like, unfortunately I don't really like Jillian Michaels anymore, but literally that's who I would turn into. um, but this is something that I wish a lot of female politicians kind of knew, is when I say the beauty and the softness of a female voice, I'm not saying it in terms of like, no, you have to always speak in a whisper. You have to sing and not be heard. I don't mean it like that at all. There was a study done, and I don't think it was a very good study. Like it's not one of those ones that was like, well, it was peer reviewed, but there was a study done, and I always quote this study even though I lost the thing on it. I just remember hearing about it. And they found that men actually have a hard time hearing a woman when she's screaming, yelling, and shouting, which I was always notorious for doing. So, just as my clients and my family, it's like I was notorious for doing it, but it's actually harder for them to hear. So it's like if you're listening to a radio station, their minds, like if a woman speaks calm and soft, like they can hear her more versus if she's yelling, shouting, or screaming at them. So maybe try that in another conversation. So, yeah, the beauty and softness of a female voice. Being soft, feminine, and buttery is the term that I use for number 2. And I use buttery on purpose just because of that, like, adjective about it. There is something when a woman is soft, feminine, buttery, it just really heightens the polarity between her and her partner. Being an empathetic listener and having eye contact. I remember, what's his name? I think his name is Chris Voss. He's negotiating. He was talking about like, as job as a negotiator is really kind of to listen, and that's something you would see in a lot of Daphne Joy's interviews. And yes, some of it probably is because she's so nervous. So you can definitely tell if she gets too nervous and she kind of like, I don't say takes charge of the interview, but it's not from a way of like, oh, it's not in a way of like taking the bull by the horns and being forceful with it, but it's like asking an open-ended question, which that will come later, and then listening. But when it's empathetically listening and having eye contact. I know that some of these don't sound like shocking, like, oh yeah, I already knew this, but like, just a gentle question, like, are we practicing it, And really listening, so not thinking about ourselves as we're listening, but really listening. Number 4, owning your sexuality does not have to be vulgar. And I'm releasing this on YouTube for the general population, so perhaps most people watching this can't relate to it, but something within my own private world is I always feel like I may not fit in with a lot of other Only Angels girls in terms of what's portrayed in the media, or with a lot of other webcam models in terms of what's portrayed in the media. Like, it's portrayed as like women who make a living off their sensuality, off their feminine energy, or like off of like intimacy and using their bodies are like vulgar, like yes, like it's this thing, but like it can just be quiet. Like literally, if you might be walking down the street, you would have no idea. I'm like it's, I don't even know if I'm describing it right, but like, and I probably have to think about this more. I think the way it comes off, so I don't want to use the word in terms of vulgar as it's bad, because it's not bad to be like, this is what I do, and I'm not even saying this right. I wish I knew how to say this right, but like just simply that, like, owning your sexuality does not have to be vulgar. You can still be feminine, you can still be classy, you can still be private. Like, I always like to use like, if let's say if I'm in my bathing suit, a lot of times I will have a shower, what you might call a cover up over my lips. And people are like, oh, if people who know what I do for work are like, is that? And I'm like, yeah, no, like this is just like who I am. And so I was really inspired to see Daphne Joy do that as well, because that was like who she is. Did I put it on here? Um, when you subscribe, actually, I don't think I put on here. So when you subscribe to her Only Angels, a lot of it are just clips of implied peaks. There's no diamonds. There's no sucking cucumbers. There's no, I'm not using all the words. There's literally all you will see is a glimpse of her booty. That's it. That's all you'll see. There's no cream. Like that's all you'll see. She is one of the number one, if not the number one, only angels. And there's no like everything's solo. And she said, you know, on the show, and I love that. I put that in the thing too. But it's not like you don't get the peanuts, the popcorn, the all of that. There's nothing wrong with doing that, right? Like, you know, you get a lot more desserts with me. Like me, I have a lot more desserts on the table, but well, I don't even want to say it that way because that feels vulgar too. But like, I think there's kind of a pressure. This is the thing. I think there's kind of a pressure in society to be like, okay, if you have an Only Angels, you have this, then you must be like a woman without class. But you can be the classiest woman in the world, still keep private stuff to yourself, and have a page that celebrates some of the sexiness of who you are as a woman. And this is, yes, it's me romanticizing it. I romanticize all of life. And then I'm going to move faster through this. Next one is touching your body, which is number 5. So this is going to time out because I have to shoot these in 15-minute increments. So touching your body, like literally, I remember I took a class with a woman who was a stripper for many, many years in New York City. And she said one of the tricks of dancing when she was like teaching me, she was like, is to touch yourself, because when you touch yourself, then the man visualizes that he's touching you. And so that's something kind of to know that, like, you know, I do that in my work too. Now Daphne Joy was touching her hair and touching her body, not to intensify the men or anything. Like, I'm not even a body language coach, and I could tell it was a nervous system response. I'm like, poor thing, she really is a quiet person. And she even says like, hey, speaking is nervous for me, but like that's something that you can just tell, like twisting her hair and stuff, it's a nervous response. But just so you know, if you're ever with a partner or anything, touching your body can kind of awaken them and turn them on a little bit. And then we'll end here at number 6, and then I'll shoot the rest. Oh no, I did so. I mean, the rest might be on a different day. Like, we'll see how this goes. And then receiving compliments. So a lot of women are horrible at receiving compliments. First step of feminine energy. I remember one of my feminine energy coaches once taught me, first step in feminine energy is to work on receiving compliments, work on saying thank you, work on relaxing your body, work on simply accepting things. And when you do this, this helps you on a universe level, because, you know, as one of my coaches, Carrie Singh once said, like, the universe just wants to give to you, right? And so women, yeah, there's been things that play to teach women how not to receive. And this is all about receiving your softness, receiving your light, receiving your beauty, receiving good things, and being receptive to just how soft, beautiful, and amazing you are as a woman. So that's the first section. And then when I can, I'll come back and I'll finish up on the rest of them because this is number 6 and I have 30 total.